Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to impart techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Process Excellence in IT Service Management. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Shakti Brata Bose, Director at Core Quality IT Management Consultancy Private Limited. He is a co-wire guest speaker. Mr. Bose is a lead assessor for ISO 9001, ISO 20001, BS 7799 and BS 25999 with more than 24 years of experience, including 11 years of consulting, training and process auditing for management systems. He has helped many organizations to define processes for ISO 9001, ISO 27001, and a lot more. He has conducted certification audits and trainings on behalf of certification bodies. He was one of the early consultants for BS 15000 and successfully completed it for a managed IT service provider in 2004. He subsequently designed and assisted for integrated certification of IT standards. Major Shakti Brata Bose is also the Director of Core Quality IT Management Consultancy Private Limited. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Bose.
Hello. Hello to everybody. Today I shall be discussing with you process excellence in IT service management. We shall be looking at understanding business needs for IT service, where we shall understand what is IT-enabled services, the need of IT, the force multiplier, business risks from IT, the roadmap on process implementation. IT service management, process excellence is the focus today. Herein, we will see what goes wrong in present implementation, how we can better understand business pulse, how design of service needs to be aligned to business, transition challenges, a deliberate focus on process quality versus product quality. Subsequently, we will be looking at questions from all of you. IT-enabled service is a described set of facility, IT and non-IT, sustained by the IT service provider that fulfills one or more business needs of the customer, that supports the customer's business objective and is perceived by the customer as a coherent whole. There is a need to understand this definition. It is a set of facilities which fulfills customer's business need, but for the customer, it is one complete whole. IT and non-IT primarily goes towards certain environments. For example, if you have a VSAT environment, the VSAT devices are non-IP related devices, but they are an integral part of the whole service. Similarly, in a retail environment, the barcode scanner is critical to the whole service. In a traffic monitoring system, the high-speed cameras also are a composite part, and the service provider has to ensure end-to-end availability, understanding customers' business objective. This implies that business applications which support critical business processes, it could be for manufacturing environment, addressing sales to delivery, banking, retail, transportation system as an example, whether it be airline, trains, bus. It also extends to personal services we all use, whether it be bill payment, booking, complaint handling. In this, the business applications use data centers, network spreading over LAN and the wide area network, servers in data center, end user computing devices, peripherals, etc. And many a times, these extend beyond these into cloud computing, customer applications, and today towards bring your own devices, as most of our handheld devices, the smartphones, integrate with business applications. I will explain to you in brief the life cycle of an application which goes into business and how the importance of process comes into it. Initially, if we look along the time scale at the bottom of the presentation, we have a clear demarcation into two phases, that is, prior to deployment of an application into business environment, which we are calling as pre-production, which is primarily procurement of softwares or software development or software enhancement. In addition, it addresses all infrastructure related projects, wherein it could be data center build, it could be network architecture and availability, wide area network architecture and availability. Basically here it is project management, design and transition. This phase is primarily projects, wherein there is a start time, a end time, and once acceptance criteria is met, it goes to live environment, that is production. In this environment, this application sits over, is in some data center available to all users through a networking environment. In addition to these applications, there are many more applications, whether it be mail, any business workflow, it could be related to file and print service, etc. This is the domain where IT service management focuses. Here, the concerns are uptime, downtime, connectivity issues, how changes are handled, how enhancements are handled, capacity of infrastructure and manpower, security issues of the customer's environment, business continuity and disaster recovery, to name a few. So we now look at a question: does business actually need IT? The answer we all know, yes. A manual process control is not viable. Gone are the days when in a large manufacturing company there used to be 70 to 100 people calculating the payroll. The work used to start somewhere around 20th of the month and end by 7th of the next month. That is an effort of 75 to 100 people for more than 15 days. Today, the same work is delivered by 3 to 5 people in a matter of 1 to 2 days. Information technology, therefore, is a force multiplier, a small concept from defense, which basically is capability enhancing. I shall quickly discuss a small environment of force multiplication. Explaining the scenario, in an army situation of an attack, the enemy actually plans an attack to the defender. This battle is fought between the last light of a particular day to the first light of the next day. And this battle is basically fought at the surprise element between the attacking enemy commander and the defending enemy commander. In any attack, the attack forces are always 3 times the defense force, and all lines of attack will always make a headway. For the defending enemy commander, it is very critical to understand which is the main thrust line and which is fake. The defending enemy commander, this attack would start sometime at evening 6, 7 in the last light, and by around 12:31, the defending enemy commander needs to deploy Hello? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Bose. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Your voice is not coming.
Is it coming now?
Yeah, it's coming now.
Yes, please. Apologies. I think I could see a network connection break.
Okay. You can continue.
Yes, please. Thank you. So for the defending commander, now it becomes important to delay his decision. When these troops are positioned behind, they either walk or are on land transport. Therefore, they are deployed by a time, say, 1 o'clock. In case these troops are held much behind. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Mr.
Hello?
Bose. Yes, Mr.
Am I
Bose.
audible?
Yeah, you're completely audible.
In case these troops are held behind and moved by helicopter, the defending commander can delay the move up to 1-2 hours, thereby giving him critical time to ascertain which is the thrust line. What happens here, it's a concept. In the same troops, helicopter acts as the force multiplier. It enhances the defending commander's force to deliver. Similarly, in business, as I was explaining to you, IT is the force multiplier. For IT, there are challenges, like in defense, whether it's a helicopter downtime. In IT, it is uptime, bandwidth, etc., which are critical customer requirements. Today, if you talk to any management person in an organization, whether it be manufacturing, whether it be services, now you ask him what are the highest business risks in a large manufacturing domain using ERP, etc. The management would say one of the first risks is low order position. Subsequently, maybe non-availability of raw material. Somewhere in this list, at the highest end would be non-availability of IT. IT leads to major business risks. These can be grouped into non-availability of assets, non-availability of service, non-availability of DR site, certain times omission of critical periodic tasks, and inappropriate planning. At asset, if a core switch in a data center goes down, the whole IT environment is not available. Services, it could be any of the application services. DR site, in case it does not come up as per the plan, there would be challenges. Backup, we understand, is a critical periodic task. In case backup is not correct, then restoration cannot happen. Inappropriate planning, if it so happens that the DR site and the main data center is located significantly far apart, but within, for example, say, just hypothetically, between Mysore and Bangalore, two cities in India, spread well apart. But sometimes political situations like Kaveri water unrest may put both the centers not available for service provision. Similarly, in a data center, UPS all would say is there for backup. It will give 30 minutes, 45 minutes of backup. Today, a high density data center have server racks which use power more than 10 kVA per rack. Any of the OEMs would say, server OEMs, that their servers will literally fry in 8 minutes heat up, meaning that just considering UPS as a backup is an inappropriate planning. It is primarily only for switching and not for sustained operations. We are looking at some examples of loss to business due to outage. This is an article of IDG where they are talking about 25%
Mr. Bose, your voice is not coming. We've lost your audio.
and outages.
Mr. Bose, your audio went off for a while. Can you please repeat what you said?
Sure. Now we are looking at cost of unplanned IT outages. The CIO magazine had put it at a figure of US $2.8 million per hour. KPMG in its research has said that more than 24% of organizations have said that 2 hours of downtime is unacceptable. There are other examples of financial losses. The hourly cost of outage actually, through some data, looks at $42,000. The scope of downtime per year is been shown by Gartner as 87 hours of downtime per year. And in this, the majority cause of performance errors are misconfigurations. 60% of availability and performance errors are due to faulty configuration, change management. angle.
Please check your audio connections. Your voice is going on and off again. Mr. Bose, I would like to interrupt you. Can you please check your audio connections? Your voice is going on and off again and again.
बीच में आवाज आ रहा है. Can you hear me? Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Hello?
Yes, you're audible.
Apologies to everybody. I'll just continue. The solution. Now, any business will look at 100% availability. 100% availability technically implies creation of redundancy. Is it possible to create redundancies for all assets? It's a non-viable environment. Now, therefore, where does the solution lie? The solution lies in IT-enabled service performance through IT service management with performance excellence. How does one take it forward? Process implementation, a brief roadmap. There could be different methodologies. I am sharing one method which industry generally follows. Firstly, the need is basically because of management or customer requirements. Here, an organization may look forward for implementing ITIL framework, certification against ISO 20001 or CMMI services. Having decided, they would look forward for training. They would have to document process definition. A very important part is implementing tools, which is very critical to successful implementation. The tools are well integrated, meeting requirements, ensuring customer satisfaction, a service desk tool, and which is integrated with monitoring and management tools. One needs to understand that the performance of service is based on call logging. Primarily it is a disruption or a degradation of service, which is an incident wherein it is logged in a tool and the performance is as per the clock stamp of that tool.
Your audio is lost again, Mr. Bose. You're not audible.
And conduct
Mr. Bose,
internal audit.
can you please connect in using a phone, because your audio is going on and off again and again.
Can I have a minute? I will just connect using my data card.
Okay, sure.
Just a minute, please. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, yeah, you're audible.
Yes, Mr. Bose.
You're audible.
Apologies once again to everybody. Yes, I'll continue. So after that, the organization goes ahead for a verification through internal audit for effectiveness of the implementation, followed by management review and then certification or assessment, which is actually optional depending on the organization's requirement. Having seen what is the business need, we now focus on the basic requirement of today's presentation, why present implementations go wrong. Here, it is important to understand the business pulse, designing of service aligned to business, transition challenges, a deliberated focus on process quality versus product quality, rapid growth versus competence and training. The business pulse. Today, these domains, I shall be sharing with you some examples we have picked up while conducting service excellence audits, transactional audits, inspections of tickets, etc., to highlight the criticality of what goes wrong and how one needs to address these issues. This sales team, assisted by the pre-sales, have a major role to play. Competence commitment is critical in any IT service delivery, and a commitment is made, customer is given assurance of start of business, but most of time manpower, competent manpower is not available at the committed time. One has to commit realistically or improve recruitment processes to meet commitments. A simple example of one commitment made at one, the commitment was that customers' email fire time will be the start time of the call. Technically, in most environments, this is not possible. The call would lie in queue in the customer's mail server, be transmitted, may lie in queue at the service provider's side, and subsequently, by the time it reaches, there would be a time lag. Commitment which cannot be technically met should not be a part of any agreements. Looking at the business pulse from transition and delivery perspective, IT service management is a technical service, but there is a need to understand the service angle. Today, across wherever we are, we look for service, whether it be any industry from retail to banking to restaurant, etc. Similarly, the customer's requirement is not just technical, but an attitude, a service mindset. A problem ticket is whose responsibility? Many organizations would say incident, I meet SLA. Problem, I don't have a solution, I don't meet SLA. Please sit in the shoes of the customer. As a service provider, whether we call it an incident or a problem, ultimately, he has business outage, which is financial loss. Somebody has to be accountable. The next, I am going to share with you a small example on mapping business losses to an infrastructure. I am looking at an organization which is a large manufacturing organization. They are using an automated business support process, maybe SAP, maybe Oracle Apps, any other ERP. They have a barcoder in the production line. Say it is an electronics goods manufacturing company. Now, as soon as the barcoder goes down, the whole production stops. The cost of a barcode printer versus the cost of production loss is not comparable. Similarly, there are certain transit documents which are printed which have to be a part of the exit as a part of legal systems before any transport, say trucks, move out of the company premises. Say this printer goes down at night 2 o'clock, and till 8 o'clock it is down, and a total of 20 trucks could not move out. Because of its location, the city has no entry, and therefore till evening 9 o'clock these trucks still don't move. Compounded to this is it is prior to a festival season where this was an urgent need. What we are emphasizing here is inappropriate planning and not understanding the business leads to huge business losses. Now we focus on design of service which is aligned to build business. The technical challenges sometimes faced. An IT service provider on a wide area network polling devices in the customer's data center would use monitoring tools which poll at an interval, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Please think of a condition where the polling time is 15 minutes and in your SLA you have agreed a response time of 15 minutes. The service is not designed to meet the response time. Similarly, recovery point objectives linked to business needs. If a backup is planned once every 24 hours, you can give back to the customer data which is 24 hours old to the maximum. Is it agreed with the customer? Does the customer expect certain different environments? You need to address it through design. Process design. In any support environment, there is a commitment of 24/7 support, say, and the design is such that one engineer is available 24/7, but maybe server and the engineer who is on call take a telephonic once and resolution, or does he need some time to settle down depending where he is, and then start the response and resolution? The basic architecture of delivery is not designed correctly. Another misunderstanding is in the understanding of the word response time. Many in the industry feel that acknowledging a call is response. In the shoes of the customer, they expect it to be when you start work. This needs to be deliberated during the design of service. Now we look at transition challenges, wherein we saw feasibility of commitment. One of them we saw earlier, call start time as per customer email time, implementation not as per commitment, and knowledge securing resource retention. These 2 points I shall highlight in my next slide. In transition, the cost also plays an important role. Many of the overheads which are incurred during transition are not part of the initial sales process. In addition, to address cost overruns, certain components of the service, for example, asset discovery, is not provided with service desk in the CMDB. Or else, one had asked the customer for additional costs leading to dissatisfaction. Going back to the implementation not as per commitment, I share with you a simple example. In a particular contract, there is a need to supply, implement, maintain computer hardware for production center and for data center and the complete setup. The transition team implements the service desk tool only looking at service management. The hardware component is left aside because it is managed by some other line of business within the same organization. For the customer, it is a composite delivery. These response and resolution times are linked to the hardware and the managed services together. We all know manpower is critical to delivery. If during the delivery a transition manager is not available, the transition positively is not going to happen in the correct perspective. Here I focus on process quality versus product quality. The ISO 20000, ITIL, all of them have got a very clean requirement, deliberated requirement on process quality. Product quality is not addressed very specifically. By product quality, we look at service quality. Please think of any other environment, say a manufacturing environment, manufacturing any product. After all the processes, the critical part is testing that product before it is delivered. Now, this product in IT service can come in 2 broad heads, scheduled delivery and break fix environment. Suppose in a scheduled delivery, a log, the backup log indicates that certain files have not been backed up. What do we do with that log file? We just leave it aside many a times. Don't you think the customer should be asked that this file is not backed up? Is it business critical? Somebody should take the ownership. That is a part of testing of that scheduled delivery. Immediately in batch process and batch quality. In break fix environment, the ticket, which is the heart of the whole environment, has a start time and end time. Many a slip happens between the cup and lip in how this time is projected. This is primarily verified through transactional audits. Today, the quality of IT service is basically against SLA, which is the cumulative report of handling of each and every call ticket. Different accounts may have 15,000 to 35,000, 40,000 calls. Here the issues are maybe leading from SLAs met but actually manipulated. This is something which needs to be verified through some mechanism at account level and at transaction level. At transaction level, it is basically how the stop clock of the ticketing tool is handled. I have a very simple example here of some data that was fetched. In this environment, if in case the ticket status is changed from under observation to user to confirm, the SLA is not violated. This primarily is from tool configuration challenges. What happens is, query data showed that almost 38.9% tickets were actually most likely not meeting SLA, whereas actual number of tickets which were violated and reported are much less. To handle this, there can be an inspection plan. This is a detailed inspection plan. I have got in the next slide a simplified view of some of the rows and columns, and we will look into one issue. In an inspection, one needs to make a detailed inspection plan which addresses maybe telephone calls, dropped alerts, delayed of non-scheduled or non-scheduled tasks, delayed response, etc. And there would be some checking parameter. Say, let's take the first one, telephone calls, triggered tickets. What is the parameter? Time lag in logging. What do you want to check? Time of call in telephone system versus call in tool. What do you expect? That it meets SLA time. Then you can decide on a frequency and who will do it. In this way, a complete inspection structure is designed. Now, we understand that all these challenges are addressed through some tools. I will now hand over to Mr. Ashok to talk on certain issues addressed by tools in the correct perspective.
Hello. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Hello. Are you able to see me?
Yeah, we are able to hear
Can you
you.
see my screen, please?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bose. And basically, after that, I will be sharing some of the implementation which we have done using the tool. As Mr. Bose gave a lot of emphasis on the process. So we have a tool like Covert ITSM Studio, which basically allows you to configure the complete IT service management, and the features which Mr. Bose highlighted in his presentation, including the SLAs, the processes, the roles different people will play in resolving the tickets, what are different ticket types, what can be the asset for which the ticket can be logged in, what are the users who can log in the ticket based on the tools or the application to which they are entitled to use. All these things are basically available and you can be used in the Covert. First, what I would like to show you here is some of the processes which are there inbuilt. They come inbuilt as with the tool. First process is for the incident resolution. So incident, like some of the organization call the incident as ticket also. So when a ticket is logged into the system, as soon as the ticket is logged, immediately the process started and the task is generated for the level 1 support to review and search the knowledge base. The purpose of this activity is to basically go through the knowledge base and search whether you find a similar type of incident or a problem which was reported earlier. System will throw whatever the knowledge base is, matches with that search criteria, and the L1 guy can see whether some of the resolution or the investigation or the symptom of the problem or the ticket matches with my current problem. Then in that case, he can link it with that particular knowledge base, and a solution is found. The person goes and implement a solution. After the solution is implemented, it goes for the confirmation, and if it is confirmed, it goes into the update knowledge base. Otherwise, it goes back to the review and search knowledge base. So the top to bottom path shows when the L1 has got a similar type of incident or the ticket being there in the knowledge base, and it has got the investigation detail, the resolution detail, or the workaround details, and based on that, a ticket gets closed over here. But many a time, that is not the case. So COVID allows you to basically escalate the incident to a problem or to a change. And when you escalate it to a problem, so take a scenario like this. In an organization, let's say the person is using some application, and in the morning when you came in and you logged in to use that application, and you find that the URL is not working, nothing is coming on the screen. And when the ticket is logged that I am not able to access my application, then it escalated to the level 2, and level 2 created a problem which gets into the resolution mechanism. Now, after the first ticket was logged in, after that many more tickets were logged in because no one in the organization was able to access the application. In that case, you won't like to create that many problems record to be created. So what COVID allows you is, COVID allows you to link that incident with the problem which was created based on the first ticket in the morning, and all the associated new incidents are linked with that problem. And the purpose is that once that particular issue is solved, then with that one issue solved, not only my one ticket will get resolved, all the relevant tickets by other users, maybe 20, 30 users, all of them will be closed over there. So you need not create a new ticket, a new problem for each incident, right? So that is how you can see once the problem is closed, automatically the ticket is also closed. And during the investigation, it can also be noticed that it is not an incident, it's basically a change. So in that case, you can basically escalate that to a change, and when the change is closed, then the incident is closed. So sitting at the ticket at the incident level, you can basically see whether the ticket is getting closed through the incident resolution mechanism, or it has been escalated to a problem, goes through the problem mechanism to get it closed, or it is escalated to a change and it gets into closure. Second process I would like to show you is the problem resolution process. In the problem resolution process, the activities are the assess classification. So first the problem is entered. So the problem can be entered in both the way. A problem can be escalated from an incident or ticket, and the problem can be entered directly also. So at the assess classification level, basically it is identified whether the problem or it is a change. Then it goes to investigation and analysis of the ticket, of the problem, and then based on that, if the solution is found, it gets into implementing solution, confirmation, and then based on the decision whether this problem resolution will help me in identify or resolving the future incident and problem, then I would like to add that as a knowledge base article. So when you click on that update knowledge base, then the system will automatically capture all the fields like the description, the symptoms, what was the root cause analysis report, what was the workaround provided, what was the solution mechanism which was, taken for resolving that issue. All of them are automatically populated in the knowledge base article, and the problem gets closed over here. And similarly, when the problem is escalated to a change, it gets into the change process. Now, we can see over here, as soon as this problem is resolved, and if I go back to my incident process, you can see from this wait node, the control will come to the close, because this particular incident was converted to a problem, and problem got resolved through the problem resolution mechanism. And as soon as that problem is closed, automatically that incident is closed. And this is happening because all these, the service request, incident, problem, and changes, all are in the same repository, single repository. Quickly, I will show you the change management process also. In the change management process, when the change is coming, then the impact analysis is done. At the impact level, the change can be approved or it can be rejected. And in the case of rejection, it may be possible that you need a new service request for that change. Based on that incident or that problem, you cannot authorize the change. So probably you need a new request over there. So it can be asked like new request is required. And when a new request is created, then that will follow the service request management process over there. Now once the request is, when the change is approved, it goes basically into the feasibility analysis done by the level 3 system administrator. And here the change is feasible, it goes into obtaining the change manager's approval. In case the approval is done for the low and medium risk change, you can basically go through the implementing the change, testing the change, and basically confirmation. And for the high risk change, you can basically go through the CAB. Like these are the processes which are being followed by, couple of our customers. And all these processes, what you're seeing over here, that can be configured and customized exactly as per your requirement. Now, I will quickly show you the tool also. So in the tool, you can basically create multiple processes over there. In fact, for all the process areas like the service request, incident, problem, changes, configuration item, knowledge base, all of them you can create processes within that. And it allows you to create multiple processes also for each of these process area. In other words, let's say for the incident resolution, you may have a different process for the application incident resolution mechanism and a different process for the server, or let's say some other configuration items process. And in the process, it allows you to create the versioning. Versioning helps you to basically standardize the process. So once you basically create or define a process, it allows you to go through 3 different, what you can say is the layer. The first layer is basically the process comes into the design mode. Now in the design mode, it allows you to make changes, and as and when you want, it allows you to save the process over there. Okay, it is taking some time to open. Now when you are basically defining the process and the process is long, it cannot be done in the one sitting. So the design mode allows you to basically save the process, and when you are basically saving the process, it doesn't go through any checks and balances over there. Now once the process is saved and you are sure that, okay, I have defined all the conditions correctly, all the paths have been accounted for all the conditional path I have defined the else path like that. And then basically what you can do is basically debug the process. Now in debugging the process mechanism, it allows you to test all the paths, like whatever paths you have defined based on the conditions, that my process is following it correctly. And once I am satisfied with the process mechanism that, okay, all the results matches with my existing what you can see the process definition, then I can publish the process. And when you publish the process, then basically it don't allow you to make any changes in the process. So any changes in the process can be done through the, what you can say is a new version of the process. So here you can see this is a process definition. This looks like a Visio diagram, but it is more than the Visio, because it allows you to define what you can say is the conditions and what basically when the process will be generating the task, who will be getting that task, and based on that task, what will be the activity person has to perform. You can see all those you can define. When the task will come, it will show you the ticket ID, the ticket title, the status, who has requested that task. All those things you can see is coming over there. And a typical example of a task, if I open a task over here from my task page, looks like this. So here you can see the typical task look like. It gives you the complete detail, the ticket number, what is the ticket basically looking for, unable to access the application URL, what is the status currently, it is waiting for the change manager approval, what was the configuration item, so this is basically I am unable to access the COVID URL, what was the risk level, what is the type of change. All those things you can see is basically shown over there, and the person when it is going to access the task or the task owner, that can basically edit the, you can say, the field over there, provide the values, and based on the values provided, the process is driven as per the condition over there. So you can say that, okay, change is approved. Now you can see different fields over there. What is the change implementation benefit, the implementation reason. If change is not implemented, what could be the consequences over there. Or if I say change is not approved, then I have to basically enter what is the reason of rejection. Now this form or the task, the process is basically, you can say, customized and configured exactly as per requirement. Whatever is coming out of the box, it allows you to use out of the box process as it is. Or if you require, you can always make the changes as per your requirement over there. So like see over here, when the change is approved, now you can see the control should go basically, what you can say is the change manager approval. It should come to the implement change level over there. So if I go back to that activity over there, and after that you can say the complete task. And let me take you to the change record over there. So all these you can see, I am showing you the end user perspective as well as the administrator perspective, that it allows you to, as an end user, allows you to access the task and complete the task. And as the administrator, it allows you to access the process definition and modify or define the process as per your requirement over there. So you can see it has come to the level schedule change. Okay, so that is there. And another thing what I wanted to show you, that the process is completed, then it should come to this path. You can see that it has come to the schedule change, and in the change process, if I open the diagram again, you can see it has come to the this one, implement change over there. Okay, now I think I can go through the full tool presentation, but since the time is short, it's already, I think we have passed the time, so we can take the questions now. Mr. Bose? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bose.
Can you hear me?
You can take up the questions now.
Yes, please. Yes, I have. Yes, please. Hello?
Mr. Bose, I hope you've received the question which I
Can
sent
you
you.
see some questions over there in that question panel?
The questions, I'm just looking for the questions. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, your screen is visible.
So this is one question. So you gave one example, enemy soldier. There you said it is hard for commander to find out which one is the real and which is fake. Can you explain meant by fake in your topic? Apologies, I don't see the name of the person who gave this question. Okay. What I meant here is the attack will take place on different fronts. There would be 2, 3, 4 fronts, and one of these fronts is the basic planned direction by the enemy commander. The others are fake. It is not a soldier. It is every attack is a group of troops which are coming in. One of them is the real one. The defense commander has to identify which is the real one and where the resources can be deployed, and how time is critical, and how helicopter acts as the force multiplier.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Mr. Bose, we have another question.
Your voice was not coming, sir.
Send other questions also.
I need a little help. The question is,
you
yes,
need to
with
undock.
respect to slide process implementation roadmap, monitor.
You can undock your chat, undock your questions pane and resize it, enlarge it. The questions would be visible there.
Could you please quickly tell me which is the, you did tell me earlier, the undock button.
The questions pane there. Can you see that?
Yes, please.
So the questions must have appeared there. I've assigned you a couple of them.
No, I couldn't undock. I could undock it.
There's a button near the close button which says undock pane from control panel. You need to click on that.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes. Okay. Yes, please. I've got them now on the slide. So the next question is with respect to process implementation roadmap, monitoring and management tools, internal audits for verification of effectiveness of implementation. Can you explain how effectiveness of implementation could be measured with respect to cloud-based results? You have to understand that means you are a service provider who is managing the cloud environment, or else you are a service provider who is using the cloud environment. If you are the one who is managing the cloud environment, you would measure it through your own audit review mechanisms, which you look at against commitments to customer. In case you are a service provider who is using the cloud and providing the service to your customer, then you need to make sure you build into your contract how you would verify the effectiveness of implementation, meaning at what time you would go in to verify certain activities. In a cloud environment, a similar requirement is backup installation. You have to define in what time frame you want testing to be done. Or in admin environment, What are the changes which you should have access to? This was the question from Anil. Next question. Can we have, this is by Sai Lakshmi, can we have access to any demo link of the server? This, I think, is a question to Ashok on the COVID tool. I would just like to add a point here. If you had gathered what Ashok said, he said we can, for every process or workflow, we can actually design and then publish. This becomes a critical method in ensuring that during delivery, nobody can make changes in the tool. I would request Ashok to take on this question.
Yeah, so basically, Mr. Bose, can you just click on the next slide, please? After the question, there is one more slide over there.
Would you like to take control of the screen?
No, not the control. You just share the last slide of the screen, the 27th number after the question. Just open that slide from your PPT only.
Of my presentation, right?
Yeah, same. The last one, you are showing the 26th number, show the 27th number.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So basically, I mean, we can share the demo link, and we can say the sandboxes also for our tool. And what you can do is you can send a mail to us at sales@covid.com, and we'll get back in touch with you to provide the access details. The next slide after that, right?
Okay.
Okay. Next question, please, sir. So can you just put the next slide? That is the.
Yes, please. I'm taking it on.
Okay.
Yes, I have projected it. I have now actually come back to the question page.
Okay, fine, yeah.
There may be a small time lag. Yes.
Right. Okay, so take the next question, please, sir.
Can you please move on to the last slide?
What is the...
Mr. Bose, can you please move on to the last slide and please repeat the email ID? The email ID which you shared, Mr. Ashok, you need to repeat that.
Sure. Yes, I will repeat it. The email ID where you can ask for demo is sales@covid.com, and you will see on your screen telephone numbers where you could also make a call and your request will be entertained. Okay. Moving on. Yeah. The next question is from Shavik Datta. Yeah. The next question is, what is the framework used for measuring process and quality simultaneously? Shavik, I understand that what you mean to say is where I was emphasizing on process versus product. If you look at both ITIL as a framework and 20,000, it does say that you must define processes for review. But like certain environments where it is mandated that testing, which is inspection of tickets or transaction audits, there is no mandatory compliance. To add to this, the volumes of ticket are so high that if you have a sampling plan, you may actually end up doing only 1% or 2% of the tickets only, because it has been seen a person can audit approximately around 35 to maximum of 45-50 tickets per day. Moving on. Next question is Sudaksina Basu, where the question is, what is the difference between problem and incident? I would like to address this with two perspectives. For a customer, it is a disruption or a degradation of service, and the customer is not interested whether the service provider calls it a problem or an incident. For the organization delivering service, any occurrence is first handled as an incident, wherein the expectation is to meet SLA, the service provider's engineer would quickly pick it up, look at knowledge base, give the solution and move to the next call to meet SLAs. The individual is not expected to put his or her thinking caps on. In case there is a need to find out the solution, this is a method where it is handed over to another select group of people who then do root cause analysis through a problem ticket, as Ashok explained to you, then give possible solutions, which is uploaded in the KEDB or the known error database or a knowledge base, depending on the environment and the tool. And next time, a similar nature of call will be closed at the incident level and would not be a problem ticket. Next is from Srinivasan Narayan. Is there any way to measure my process performance? Please shed some light. What you are talking about is during delivery, you have handled some number of calls wherein it is maybe volume of call, technical competence or efficiency. Most tools permit management to create MIS to see individual performance. What is important is the tool needs to be implemented where the technical support license or whatever be the nature in the tool is not shared between 2 or 3 individuals. Then this purpose will be lost. Harminder Dua. Ashok, this is a question which says, does the COVID tool also has a CMDB integrated within?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bose. So basically, we have what you can say is the configuration item there, and that allows you to capture all the details of the application or the assets. Asset can be routers, switches, servers, or printers. Any type of asset it is able to basically capture the details. COVID also has got an integration with an asset discovery tool called NOVA, through which this configuration item database can be populated automatically from a data center. Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. I'll just quickly add here. COVID actually has a very strong process wherein whether you use this tool or you have number of tools, they help you in integrating with any tool to address this requirement. Your environment may have some application discovery tool, some infrastructure discovery tool, some network discovery tool. So you can use them, or else you can use the COVID tool.
Yeah, so just to add one more thing over there, Mr. Bose. So basically, I mean, COVID also allows you to integrate with this device monitoring tools, and it allows you to basically create tickets based on the, the alerts from the device monitoring tools or the email. So COVID has got those features also. Thank you.
The next question is from Chejian. For our new IT product, we are about to outsource the development. What IT strategy we can consider as a client in the SLA with the chosen service provider from our from the scratch development? That means what you're looking at is you are looking at a application which is a complete new application, or maybe an enhancement to an application, or maybe certain modules to your application where it is going to be outsourced, and how you can control to make sure that you get a proper application. If you recall the slide where I spoke about pre-production and production. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bose, we can hear you.
It suddenly came, I'm no longer. Okay. So there you actually have to put into place the controls of the application development, where this would go into the software development lifecycle processes also, where you would approve requirements, you would approve designs, you would make sure that you are shared with the complete project plan and given updates to ensure timely completion. You would approve test plans. You may actually in your contract say, I will also conduct certain levels of testing, not only UAT. Therefore, giving you the confidence that the product which is coming up is designed appropriate to the business needs. Next is from Sudaksina Basu. Is problem a repetitive incident? Problem is, as far as 20,000 standard goes, it says unknown underlying cause of one or more incident. When it says more incident, it primarily means that if there are repeat number of incidents in your repository, you need to go back, look and decide, is there some other challenge? It many a times happens actually when you give what you do in a problem management is root cause analysis, possible solutions which are permanent or temporary, which is known as workaround. As a service provider, you may assume that this is a permanent solution, but when it tends to reoccur, it indicates that what you assumed as permanent is actually a workaround. But the underlying fact, yes, repetitive incidents need to be addressed as problems. Are there any more questions? I don't see.
No, that was all, Mr. Bose. Thanks for your session on process excellence in IT service management. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. You can write to sales@covare.com for further queries. The recording of the webinar will be available on techgeek.com by Monday. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.